All right, so let's actually get up and start warming up our bodies, getting a little action going here so that we can absorb some of the information we're going to give to you. So off your chairs if you can. And I'm just going to try moving this, hopefully without disabling anything, so that you can see my whole body, or most of it. And can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up, somebody. Yes, good. Okay, great. So we're going to start with just a little bit of gentle tapping. Let me turn on this other light. Good. You can see me a little bit better. Thanks, by the way, for being here rather than being out in this gorgeous sunshine. So we're going to start with a little bit of tapping. So just using your fingers, we're going to start waking up the brain. So tapping your head. And if you like, you can say, wake up, brain. I didn't hear that. Hopefully you're doing that on your own. I'm assuming that you don't have anybody in the room with you that doesn't know you intimately. All right, and then tapping your face, waking up all those cells and senses on your face, loving your face a little bit. We're going to do the back of the neck, back of the shoulders. Okay, and then putting one arm out, I'm going to start at the chest here, the shoulder, and coming down the inside of the arm. Good job, Pat. Great job, everybody. And then coming up the back of the hand, back of the arm. And then thumbs up. Good job. Coming down the top of the arm here. Underneath. Lifting your arm, coming into the armpit, really important area. And then coming down the side of your body and moving your limb. And then coming onto your lungs. And then the other shoulder. Down the inside of the arm. Good job again. Up the back. And then thumbs up, coming down top of the arm again. Underneath. Under the armpit. Down, moving the lymph. Really good for us to move the lymph. Other lung. Then we're going to come to the heart. We're going to add a sound here. So we're going to go ha, 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 ha. Good. Coming down. Let's go to the right side for the liver first of all. Waking up your liver, it does so much for us. Detoxing the body. And then coming across to the spleen on your left side. Coming across the stomach. And we're going to go around to the kidneys on the back of the body. And then coming down the low back, buttocks. And do what you can here. Come down the back of the legs, still tapping. And then up the front. We're going to go down the outside of the legs. And up the inside. And we're going to end in this area just below our navel. Tapping here for a minute. Good, and then just sweeping. So kind of breaking up any stagnation and sweeping it away from the body. Okay, and then we're going to do a little movement called trembling horse. Now this is really fun. Just get into it and do what you can. Remember, nobody else is looking at you. So starting by moving the wrists, shaking the wrists, we're going to bring that movement into the whole body, and then so just really letting go as much as possible, any frustration, anything. Again, getting rid of all that angst of being stuck at home. Right, we'll do one more, but we're going to come up the other way. So we're going to start at our knees, coming up, bringing that shaking into your arms, and all right, well done, well done. Does that feel great to shake that off? Good. So we're going to do a little movement now called pulling down the heavens. So this is just to kind of relax us. So hands are going to come up, palms are going to face the earth. We're going to pretend that we're gathering earth energy, then turn the palms over and gather heavenly energy. And you're going to bring that down the front of the body. And as you bring it down, you just imagine that you're cleansing and nourishing all parts of the front of the body, taking any stagnation and letting that move down out through your fingertips and through your toes. And then we're going to bring our hands up again, gathering that earth energy, gathering the heavenly energy. And this time the hands are going to come down the front of the body, but we're going to imagine that they're going down the back of the body and that they're cleansing and nourishing all of the back of the body. Pulling up any stagnation, letting that slip away, slide away, melting any tension, stress, and again letting that go down through the fingertips and toes out into the earth. And then one more time, gathering that earth energy, heavenly energy, bring that up. And this time we're going to allow that energy to go down through the center of our body, through our head, cleansing and nourishing all the glands and the cells, all of the organs, taking away any stress or tension, any thoughts or worries, and letting all of that just melt downward and down into the earth. Good. Okay, we're going to bring our hands up one more time. This time we're just going to do what's called closing the chi. So just like you're smoothing down the front of the body. Good. Okay, do you feel like your body's a little bit more awake? Ready for a little bit of theory? I hope so. So take a seat again if you like, or you can stand, whatever you prefer. Move this up again. Okay. And so I just want to introduce a little bit of Qi Gong to you, or a little bit about Qi Gong. So first of all, with those movements that we just did, that tapping, if you're doing that in the morning, you can, tap quite hard. You want to wake up your body. But if you're doing it at nighttime, you might want to just do very gentle taps, okay? Because you don't want to get yourself too invigorated, all right? Pulling down the heavens, this movement here, is a wonderful thing to do at nighttime. Just letting go of all of your worries and whatnot, anything that's gone on in the daytime. Just going to bring that down and let everything melt away into the earth, okay? And of course, trembling horses, great to do at any time that you're feeling frustrated or you just need to change up your energy. That particular thing, the trembling and letting go with your breath, is really great just to release and to change up your energy. Okay, so I'll sometimes give this type of Qigong work to some of my acupuncture acupressure clients, my medical Qigong clients. So I'll work on them and then I'll say, listen, when you go home, practice this particular movement for the next week or so until I see you again. And that helps them to continue with their process as they're, they can work on their own. Thank you, Sydney. I'm glad you enjoyed that. So let's talk about what Qigong is, what the words mean. And again, I like people to be informed about their practice. So Gong means to work with. It's to kind of develop mastery over something. So you would be, you know, with Tai Chi or Qi Gong, where you practice this for years and years, you become a master at it. And the Gong part means the work aspect of it. So we might say, for example, that a Rembrandt painting has really good Gong. It's been done by a master. There's a lot of craftsmanship in that particular type of work. So that's the Gong of Qigong. And Qi means, basically, we roughly translate that as energy. It's kind of referred to as our life force. Everything has Qi in it. Plants have Qi in them. Animals, we do, obviously. It's that animating factor in people. It's what keeps people alive. When you don't have Qi in your body, there's a word for that. It's called dead. Okay, so we want to have Qi in our bodies, obviously. If we don't, then we're not going to be around. Qi is in the air that we breathe, but it's not the oxygen. It's in the food that we eat, but it's not vitamins and minerals. It's a bit more of an energetic thing. Okay. It's in the ground that we stand on. It's in the universe. It surrounds us. And so with Qigong, what we're trying to do is bring a little bit more of that into our bodies. So I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and imagine for a moment that you're safe and you're comfortable and you're in a place that's quite desolate, say a desert somewhere, or maybe even on the surface of the moon, keeping in mind that you're safe and you're comfortable, and just feel what that space feels like. Notice how it feels in your body, being in that space. And then I'm going to invite you to go to a different space. Again, you're going to be safe and comfortable, but you're going to be in a meadow with lots of lush greenery under you, grass, moss, and with plants, trees, and shrubs, and flowering bushes around you. Maybe there's even some birds and some animals you can hear. And then just notice how that feels in your body. And did you notice a difference? I mean, maybe both are the same for you. Maybe you like stark, desolate places like deserts. So that might be nourishing for you. But generally, most people are going to feel more nourished by imagining and being in a lush environment. And that's because there's lots of Qi in the grass and the trees and the bushes, the flowering bushes. There's a lot of Qi in that environment, and you can feel that. There's also Qi in a desert environment. It's not as much, and it's not as maybe vibrant or as close to what we would like to feel in our bodies. So hopefully some of you could feel that. If you can, and you want to write in the chat, go ahead if you're able to feel that difference. Again, using our imagination is a big part of Qigong. And the more you can do that, the better, the more Qi you'll get in your body, the more the Qigong will actually work for you. Okay? So the concept of Qi was discovered thousands of years ago, and it was discovered across many different cultures, not just in China. We tend to think of Qigong as being from China, but actually from a lot of different countries. And in fact, I think there's about over 60 names for Qi in other languages. For example, in China and Tibet, they call it Qi energy. But in Japan and Korea, it's called Ki energy, Ki. If you've done yoga, and I know most of you have, or at least you know what it is, they talk about prana. Same thing. That's just the, I don't know if it's Hindu, or at least the East Indian name for Qi. There's also Pneuma, there's Mana. So lots of different names out there. And the thing about Qi is that we can't necessarily see it. It's an energetic thing. But we can certainly feel it, okay? Or we can feel the effects of it. Qi is like our thoughts and our emotions. We don't see them, but we certainly have them. Or it's like the wind or electricity. We don't see those particular energies, but we can feel the effects of them. So very important part of our bodies. I think that Qi is kind of the big differentiating factor between Eastern and Western medicine. In Western medicine is all predicated on working on dead bodies or cadavers, and guess what? There isn't any of in those particular bodies. There's no Qi. Whereas Eastern medicine is all looked at from the looking at nature and what goes on there, looking at our bodies when we're alive and how we work with different things, how we are in relationship to nature, and all of these other things. So that's kind of the big difference between Eastern and Western medicine. Okay. Now the Qi, we know that the blood flows through blood vessels called arteries and veins, and then the tiny little ones called capillaries. And the Qi flows in the body in the same way. It flows through what are called pathways that are called meridians. And these meridians have been mapped out for years. There's actually 12 of them in the body. They run bilaterally in the body. So 3 of the meridians, start in the chest, and they go down the inside of the arm and come off the ends of the fingers, okay? And then 3 of them start in the fingers, and they come up the back side of the arm and come up into the head, and they end in the head. 3 of them start in the head and go down the body, and they end in the toes. And then 3 of them start in the toes and come up the inside of the legs and up the chest to end here. So there's a circular movement of the Qi in the body. And it goes actually, there's 12 meridians, and the Qi flows is in all of the meridians all of the time, but it flows kind of in 2-hour blocks. And so it circulates through the whole body in a 24-hour time period. So that's why if you go to another country with a different time zone, you get really mixed up in terms of the jet lag, because your Qi isn't in that new zone. It isn't in that part of the body that it should be for that particular time zone. Okay. So I just want us to trace the flow of the meridians. Now, notice that when we were doing the tapping, we were going down the inside of the arm, okay, and then up the back. So I just want you to do this. We'll just do 3 times on each arm. So just, I'll stand up so you can see. Just coming down the inside of the arm and then up the back. And we're just trying to get the Qi to flow a little more smoothly in these meridians. Okay. And if you want, you can even come off the body. You don't have to touch, and you will still help the Qi flow moving. All right, and then we'll do the other arm. So this is a really simple Qi Gong. You're not feeling like you're getting much done, just do this a couple times. It will really help to get your Qi moving, coming off the body. Good, and then we can do that with the legs as well. So if you can do it seated if you want. So I'm just gonna go really far back. Nope, still can't see. All right, so we're just gonna go down the back of the legs and then come up the inside. So just do that a couple times. Good. Really good movement, an easy, gentle movement for moving the Qi in your body. Okay, so it goes down the inside of the arms, up the back, down the outside and back of the legs, and up the inside. All right. Now I mentioned that the Qi goes down. 3 of the meridians end in the fingers, and 3 of them start in the fingers. 3 of them end in the toes, and 3 of them start in the toes. So we're just going to do this simple little exercise of rubbing your fingernails together. Now, if you can do this with your toes as well, go for it. But the rest of us are just going to do our fingernails. And so what we're doing here is we're stimulating the flow of the qi in those particular meridians that start and end in the fingers. Now, I'll tell you a couple of other things that this particular movement does, in case some of you are interested. It really helps with your hair growth. And it really helps to keep your hair its natural color. So rather than having it going a little gray.
Wow.
So if that's a concern for you, no, the thing is, in order to make that happen, well, you
I'm Qi Gong.
15 minutes a day for about 6 months. Okay? I'm going to stand up because I want to show you what I'm doing, but you don't have to stand up. So what I want you to do, got this for another couple seconds here, and then just bring your hands down to your side. Bring them down quickly. And what can you feel? Can you feel anything? I'm hoping some of you at least can feel a bit of tingling in your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically, that's your qi moving, okay? Yeah, Diane, thanks for writing in. Yeah, tingling, for sure. That's your qi, you're feeling your own qi. So give yourself a pat on the back. That's some great work. Glad that that's working for you. Okay, so buzzing, yeah, for sure. Okay, so now all of the meridians are associated with organs of the body. So for example, the lung meridian, so associated with the lungs, starts here in the chest and comes down the inside of the arm and goes off of the thumb, okay, the outside of the thumb. The heart meridian starts under the arm. That's why I said this tapping is really important. And it also goes down the inside of the arm, but it goes off the inside of the baby finger, the pinky. So when you do this tapping, you're not just affecting the flow of the qi in the meridians, you're also affecting the organs, all right? So that's a really good thing to do. The stomach meridian starts under the eyes and comes down the outside of the mouth, and then down, coming down right through the nipples and down through the outside of the legs and out through the toes, the second toe. So when you smile, you are not only affecting the stomach meridian, you're affecting the stomach organ, and you're also affecting your digestion. Okay, so it's a really good thing to smile when you're eating rather than frowning. It makes quite a difference to how well you will digest your meal.
Wow.
So when in Western medicine, when we talk about an organ, so for example, the lungs, we are only talking about the physical organ itself. But in Eastern medicine, when they talk about the lungs, they talk about the whole lung system. So it's not just the lungs, it's also the lung meridian. It's the emotions that kind of are associated with the lungs, which is grief on the one hand and integrity on the other. They talk about it involves the color, which is white, the sound. So all aspects of, there's a lot of different aspects that are involved with when they talk about an organ. They're talking about a whole system of things, not just the physical organ itself. All right. So when we, so we've got the meridians going down the arms and the legs. And when those meridians come close to the surface of the body and we have, there's kind of little dents in the body, we have what are called acupoints, okay? And these are places where you can access the flow of the qi. So, and we can do that in a number of different ways. So one is, most people know about acupuncture. You stick a needle in a point, and that helps to get the qi moving in that point, okay? So in that point, which is on a meridian. Another way is acupressure, which is what I do. So that might involve pressing on a point, okay? Or massaging it a little bit, and that will also get the qi moving in the meridian that that point is on. So that affects the meridian, the point, and the organ itself. Okay, and then other ways of doing that are moxibustion, which is heat. So got a matzo stick here somewhere. Hang on. So moxibustion sticks, some of them look like incense. You light this on fire. It's a very, very hot heat, and you would put that next to an acupoint. The heat goes down into the point and again gets the chi moving. Okay. Some of the newer ways of affecting the acupoints are essential oils. So you could put you want to be very particular about what oil you use on what point, but that's one way to affect the points. And then one of the newer ways as well is with tuning forks. So you would put the tuning fork on the point, and that vibration goes into the body, and again, it gets the chi moving. All right. So the points and the meridians have all been mapped out for a couple thousand years. Here's a model of some of the meridians and the points. Okay, and this is thanks to my daughters. I got this when they were very young, and they felt that this needed to stay on there. And it gives me a good laugh every time, so that's why I kept it on there. But the meridians go down the body. You can see them here, and then the acupoints are all numbered, and they're all named. They all have specific names for them. And the names will give you an indication of what the point does. So some people work with points by just using the names of them. So they'll use associated point names. And then other people work with the actual meridians themselves. So when we did the tapping earlier, we were stimulating those particular points, right? The ones on the arms and the legs. And there's actually 12 meridians, there's actually 365 points that are on the meridians. Now there's a number of what are called extra points as well, but those are kind of the main ones. And certainly in my practice, I use some a lot and some not at all. So some of the acupoints are more important than others. And I want to just point out 6 of them to you. These are called, there's 6 gates. And so we have 2 in the hands, so 1 in each hand. So if you bring your middle finger and turn it over, or if you slide down between your index finger and your middle finger, you're going to come just over the bone here, and there's a point here. Or if you go like this, it's going to be the point that's right in kind of the little cavity there. And this point is really important. It's called Lao Gong, or Palace of Weariness. A palace would indicate that it's a pretty important point, yes? And we use these particular points to give and receive energy all the time. So for example, you might put your hand on somebody, somebody needs a little help, so you put your hand on them. And whether you know it or not, you're giving them some chi. When we meet somebody, what's the first thing we do? Prior to COVID, we would reach our hands out and shake. But when we do that, guess what? These 2 points line up, and there's an exchange of energy going on. If a child or somebody has a bit of an owie, the first thing we want to do is put our hands on it. And again, we're instinctively sending chi into these points. This particular hand posture, or what's called a mudra, is one of the most well-known hand postures in the world. It's practiced in almost all countries. And again, what are we doing? We're lining up these points. Now these points happen to be on what's called the pericardium meridian. I hope I'm not getting too technical here, but that's part of the heart. And so we're giving heart energy to people when we shake their hand, or when we pat them on the back, or when somebody holds our hand. It's an exchange of energy that comes right from our heart. So those are 2 of the 6 points. Now there's 2 more that are on the bottom of the feet, and rather than showing you my foot, I'm going to go on here. And this guy's got dirty feet. So point is right in here. Okay, you can actually maybe see the point. Put that right up on the camera. You can see where that point is. It's the first point on the kidney meridian. That's called bubbling springs. So again, we bring energy into the body through these points. Prior to us wearing shoes, we had a direct connection with the earth, and we would bring that earth chi up into our bodies through these bubbling spring points. So really important, if you can, in the summertime in particular, and as the weather is warming up outside, to get outside in your bare feet, and you'll find that it really gives you a lot more vitality. One of the newer things that's kind of been going on for, I'd say, 10 years at least, is something called earthing. So people are going out and they're putting their body onto the earth. And again, science talks a little bit more about negative and positive ions. We're bringing those negative ions into our body, and that really helps us. People have cured themselves of a number of different diseases just by doing that one simple thing, getting out onto the earth. Alrighty. And then the two other points, so that's 4 of the points. The 2 other points are, one is at the top of the head. And if we stand up straight, it's kind of the top point on the head. You can almost feel a little bit of a divot in here. Again, we bring a lot of energy, particularly from the sun and the heavens, the universe, into our bodies through this point. And then if we go directly south, you're going to find another point at the perineum. Now I'll let you find that one on yourselves. Okay, but that's a point where we bring in energy from the earth. And it's also a point where we can lose energy. And so often with Qi Gong movement, the masters will have you kind of just draw up a little bit. They'll have you clench your anus a little bit, or just hold it a little tighter there so that the Qi doesn't leak out through that area. You know, if you've had kids, you probably have a little bit of leakage there. So you want to work on keeping that particular, the body kind of tight. So those are the 6 kind of points that we can bring energy into the body, and that we can also exchange energy with other people. If you lie out in the sunshine, do you go like this, or do you have your hands open? Generally, most people instinctively have their hands open, right? They're collecting that Qi from the sun, or if their hands are down, collecting it from the earth. So we do a lot of this stuff instinctively, but if you know about it and you're aware of it, you can even bring more Qi into the body that way. Okay, I can feel myself needing to move a little bit here. Yes, thank you, Jen. A root block is what they call the energy, the Kundalini energy at the base of the spine there, yeah. So other traditions have other names for this, but basically the same idea. We're all kind of coming from the same place. Let's do one more little movement here, and then I'll come back. I just want to share a couple little more things with this. So I'm going to move this down again. So this movement is called the 8 movements of Qi. All right. So we're going to start with our hands out, and we're going to bring our hands in. I'm going to gather Qi, and then the palms are going to point down, and we're going to, Qi rises, the hands float up, and then turn the palms to face each other. Qi expands, and coming in, it contracts. Qi flows in, and it flows out. Qi descends, and it disperses. Okay, so let's do that again. We're going to inhale, exhale up, inhale outward, and exhale. Qi goes in, and exhale out. Qi goes down, and exhale. So these are the 8 movements of Qi. This is the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, really imagine, close your eyes and imagine that you're gathering the Qi And that your hands are rising up just with the flow of the Qi itself, and then expanding. Feel the Qi contract, the tension between the palms, and then it's going to flow in and out. Descend and disperse. One more time. Inhaling as we gather. Exhale as the Qi rises. Expanding. Exhale, contracting. Inhale as the Qi flows in. And exhale out. Descend. Disperse. Last time. Good. And then let's just close the Qi. Right. How does that feel? Okay. Wow, I just looked at the time. Holy. I've been talking too much. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm glad that felt great for some of you. Thanks for sharing that. So just very quickly, there are kind of three aspects of Qi that we want to make sure that we feel and are aware of. And the first aspect is the quantity of Qi that we have in our bodies, all right? We want to have lots of Qi in our bodies. And when we're born, we have a lot of Qi, but as we get older, we tend to lose it. And we can lose it a lot more quickly if we do things like overworking, over-exercising, overthinking, excessive living, such as partying, and those sorts of things. Okay, so I know when I was in my 20s, I expended a lot of Qi that probably I won't get back, but just to be aware of that. When we do anything that is to excess, we expend Qi, and we generally, there's a type of Qi that we can't get back, okay? We do get Qi from our food and from our drink. We get Qi from our environment and all of those other things, but there's a type of Qi that we're born with, and we've only got so much of it. So it's like a bank account. You've got a certain amount in there. The more you spend, the less you're going to have at the end. And we know what happens when we don't have any Qi left, right? We're called dead. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just think about, for a second here, a couple seconds, how much Qi do you feel you've got? Do you have lots and lots in reserve, so that if something comes up where suddenly, oh my God, I'm, got an emotional something going on here, and I really got to draw upon myself, do you have lots of Qi in order to do that? So just something to think about there. Keep in mind, we want to have lots of Qi in our body, okay? And then the second thing is the quality of the Qi that we have. So we want our Qi to be very pure. And usually we can see the purity of a person's Qi in their complexion. Sorry, just something going on there. So if you look at a young child, for example, or even a baby in a stroller, sometimes you see them going by and you just see the brightness of their complexion. Their Qi is so pure. It's almost like they shine outward. And look at that compared to, say, somebody who has been a smoker their whole life, or somebody that's maybe been on chemo, somebody that works in an office all day and doesn't get out. And compare that with maybe somebody who's, you know, a park warden or an organic farmer. And, you know, there's a difference in terms of, even if they've got lots of Qi, you want to have that good quality, that pure Qi in your body, okay? So again, just ask yourself, well, how do I feel? Do I feel like I'm quite vibrant, or do I feel like I've just come from McDonald's and had a fast food meal? You know, there's a difference there in that purity of Qi. All right. And then the third aspect is the flow of the Qi in the body. Okay, so we want to have that flow being quite balanced and flowing naturally the whole time. And we talked about the flow in the meridians. So generally we want to have that. And if the Qi is flowing well, we tend to be fairly flexible. We think about babies and how they can bring up their big toe and put it in their mouth. Well, I don't know when the last time you were able to do that, but it's been quite some time for me. Okay, so, you know, always we want to do this physical movement, which really helps to get the Qi in the body moving. Anywhere where you've got pain, you've got stuck Qi, it is stagnant, and that is a place where you want to start moving it, okay? Keep the pain moving. So, you know, again, you can ask yourself, how well am I moving in this particular body that I've got? Tai Chi in particular, and acupressure, you know, when you do this Tai Chi, you do these kind of movements to get the Qi in your body moving. And so that's really the purview of Tai Chi and acupressure. It's really about getting the Qi moving. And also Feng Shui, you know, most of you have heard of that before. It's about getting the Qi moving in your environment. And we want the Qi moving in our bodies as well. So Qi Gong is kind of the only thing that works on all three of those things. It not only moves the Qi, but it also replenishes the Qi in the body, and it can refine the Qi as well. So make the Qi a little more pure. Okay, we've got a place in our body where if we've got lots of Qi, where we can store the Qi. All right, and this is called the lower dantian, or field of elixir. And it's basically just under the navel. So if we think about the navel being here, it's kind of this area underneath. And this is an area where we're able to store the Qi. So if we bring in Qi and keep it here, then we've got lots in terms of reserve. This is also a place where we affects our immunity. So when we've got lots of Qi in there, our immune systems tend to be fairly strong. Okay, and this is an area where martial artists really work, because you develop your physical strength in this particular area. So it's called Field of Elixir, and again, a storage area for Qi, particularly for our physical bodies. And we also have a dantian at our heart, and this works with our mental emotional bodies. And then one up here called an upper dantian, our upper field of elixir, and that stores the Qi for our spiritual bodies to keep those sorts of bodies healthy as well. So again, just looking at the time, oh my God. Let's jump in and do a little bit more actual Qi Gong. Okay, we're gonna ixnay the meditation for now, and let's do a little bit of Qi Gong here. Let's do something for the lungs, just because in this time of COVID, I think that's really important. So we'll do something to bring in a little bit of sound as well. And just do it from here. We're just using the upper half of our body. So we're going to start by bringing our hands out to the side, and then we're going to turn the palms over and bring them in. So turn over. We're going to inhale the hands out to the side, really opening up the lungs here, and then we're going to turn the palms so they're palm up, and come back, exhaling back. Inhale and exhale. And we're going to make a sound to kind of clean out the lungs. So we're going to do that on the exhalation. So inhaling, and the sound is so as we come in, like a snake in the grass, or like a tire that's leaking. Inhaling. And as you make the sound, imagine that your lungs are clearing. And then we're going to bring in some white light. So imagine bringing white light into your lungs, filling them, cleansing them, and nourishing them. And exhale. Just bringing that white light one more time, and then bringing your hands to your lungs, and imagine filling them with that white light. Think about them being nourished, strengthened. Good. And we're just going to bring our hands a little bit lower. And as we inhale, the hands are going to come out, and then we're going to exhale back. And inhaling, expanding the lungs some more. And then exhaling and bringing any extra energy into that lower dantian, that field of elixir, filling it. And exhale. So imagine that you're surrounded by an ocean of qi, and each time you breathe in, you're bringing that into your lungs and into your whole body. And as the qi comes in, it's cleansing all of the cells, nourishing all of the cells, cleansing between the cells. Bigger breaths now, just like the ocean comes in and it washes along the pebbles of the beach, cleansing them. Imagine all of your cells are being cleansed and nourished. Couple of nice deep breaths now. Big, opening up your lungs, filling them, purifying them, increasing the quantity, purifying that qi, cleansing it, and moving the arms. We're working with the flow of the qi in the lung meridian. And then taking a little bit smaller breaths now. One last breath. Actually keep breathing here, but we'll keep our hands still. And then we're going to bring our hands out to the side, up and over, and down, connecting our three dantians. And then bringing them up to the heart and circle around. Up to the heart again. Back down to the lower dantian. Circle around. The lower dantian, we're really connecting the dantians here up to the heart. And then we're going to make a diamond shape with our fingers and send that out into the world. So the diamond shape is a very high energy. And we'll start that again. Up, circle around, down, heart, shape again. Good, and one more time. Hands to the lower dantian, inhaling up to the heart, exhale around. Inhale up to the heart again. Exhale down. Inhaling up and around. Exhale down onto the body. Inhaling up to the heart. And exhaling out. I'm really sending that diamond shape out to all of you. Thank you for being here. And we're going to bring our hands to our lower dantian. And we're just going to circle. So starting small and getting a little bit bigger. You want to keep this between your pubic bone and your solar plexus here. It's not getting too big. Usually do 18 times in each direction. So after you've done 18, you're going to change direction and go the other way, starting a little bit bigger and then getting smaller. And then moving your hands. And we're going to give ourselves a little facial here. So bringing your hands to your face and massaging up the center and around the outside. And sometimes in my class, we say, when we're doing this, so repeat after me, I love my beautiful face. Come on, let me hear you. And then we take our 10 dragons and we run them through the forest. And then massage the back of the neck here. Give the kidneys a little bit of love. Good. And then I usually finish with a little bit of the fingernail thing again. So just do that if you like. Okay. And so just a quick review of what we did. We certainly didn't get all of it in, and I apologize for that. I thought I talked a lot faster, but apparently not. But we did learn what Qi Gong is and what the benefits of it are. We learned about the quantity, the quality, and the flow of the Qi. You felt your Qi when we did this, and then dropped the hands down. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, just let me know. You can always email me, or you can get in touch with me through my website, blancheboyce.com. Thank you for whoever just wrote in. That was wonderful. I learned so much that I didn't know. If you relax, I'm ready for bed in Pennsylvania. Wow, nice. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, just before I got asked to do this, I was working on a little protocol to teach people for COVID. So be working mostly with lung stuff, building up a little bit of immunity. And I thought that I would probably try to do a 20 to 30 minute protocol for that, and get that out to people. So if that's something that's of interest to you, let me know. And also, I do want to start doing an online course, and probably the first session will be free, and that's probably what I would teach is that COVID protocol. So if that's of interest, please let me know. And that should start within the next week or two. If I make a commitment to something, usually it gets done, but otherwise I tend to put things off. So anyways, a big thank you to the North Shore Women's Center. Again, a wonderful community there, a wonderful group of people that run that program. And I believe that they're going to send you out a recording of this particular session. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see some of you again. Thank you, everybody.